Hello and welcome to Blockchain Silver, the place where we analyze what in the world is going on in crypto. Today we're going to talk about Tezos and Chainlink, the power couple. Warning, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment purposes only. It is best to do your own due diligence, form your own conclusions, and invest based on your opinion of the market. Cryptocurrency markets are highly speculative and may lose value. Be safe out there. So real quick, for the first, 3 or 4 minutes here, we're going to touch on some quick Elliott Wave, both long-term, short-term, if we draw it out. Then we're going to get into Tezos and Chainlink here and what I see happening. This is the good slide right here. All right, so let's touch on Elliott Wave and where we're at. All right, so this is the long-term picture. Then we'll get into the short-term. On December 15th, 2018, Bitcoin reached a bottom at like 31.22. All the way up to June 26th, it went to like $13,842. Then it came down for 6 months. It went 6 months up, 6 months down. Now that's kind of unusual for a wave 2. They should normally be no longer than like 61.8% of the time, but in this case it was just as long. And so now I believe that we are in a longer term wave 3. That's probably, I think it's going to last, it's going to end sometime in March, and I'll show you why here on the next slide. And then because this wave 2 was long and deep, this was about it was 6 months long and about 45% down. I think this one's going to be short and shallow. That's just my opinion. This is definitely not investment advice. I'm just sharing my ideas and my opinions with you about the market. So I think this is going to be, this is long and deep, so this will be short and shallow. If it only lasts maybe 2 or 3 months, it may end sometime in June. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin does really good from like March, April, May. And then I think the alts and Bitcoin and everything will probably rise. But I'll make some more videos about that later. And then once this 4 is over with the altcoins, then I see a pretty quick wave 5. Wave 5 is always like a lightning bolt, ending probably in August or September. If the 1 was 6 months, the 3 is usually about 2/3 of the time of the 1. And the wave 5 is usually about half of the time of the 1. And this is not drawn to scale, but the 5 goes like, it's pretty much like that. If the 1, 2, the 3 is kind of quick. If this was drawn to scale, and then the 5 looks like that. So that's what I see happening long term. It doesn't mean that it'll play out exactly just like this. Sometimes these waves can stretch on. This 3 that we're in right now could stretch out till April or May. Maybe even June. It could be a whole repeat of the 1. And so if it does, if this ends up being June, this could be easily probably August or September, and then this would probably be the end of 2020. But either way, I see the last half of 2020 being really good for Bitcoin. I see $100,000 Bitcoin coming in the year 2020. I think I'm the only channel that's claiming 100,000 in 2020. We'll see if I'll be right. I may not be. But let's get into the short-term picture. So all we're doing now, we're just going to zoom in on this right here. This is long-term. This would be from December 17th of 2019, where Bitcoin was about 6,800. And I think we're somewhere along, I think we're somewhere right in here right now, and I'll show you why. So here we got the Elliott Wave short-term picture. So now this here, we would be starting right there on the 2. And so Bitcoin, everything went up until about January 17th. Bitcoin Cash went to like 396. Litecoin, I think, went to 60 something. And then everything then came down only for 8 days. For this being 31 days, this easily could have been up to 20 days, but it was only 8 days. This was really short. And in my opinion, it was really shallow. Most of your major altcoins like Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, they only came down like 20 to 25%. That's not much. And there were some coins that came down quite a bit. I know BSV went from like 440 down to like 250. That one lost quite a considerable amount. That was probably the long and deep correction for that one. So I think some of these alts will have, they've already done their long and deep wave 2, and then some are short and shallow for the wave 2. Now this here would have been January 25th. So market went up for 30 days in a wave 1, came down. This was an easy call. I should have put a video up because I was calling a few weeks ago that I was thinking it's probably going to be sometime around Valentine's Day. Some coins maxed out on the 12th, some maxed out on the 14th. But your wave 1, if it's 30 days, the wave 2 can be usually about 2/3 of that time. But I have seen them the same amount of time in some rare scenarios. And if this one is long and deep for some, it'll be short and shallow for those same ones. If it's short and shallow for like Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, then most likely this one's going to be long and deep. I don't know though, it could be the same. I have seen where the 1 and the 3 are really similar, and the 2 and the 4 are similar. But either way, I think that we are somewhere in here right now. And if this is the long and deep one, if this was only 8 days, this was 20 days, 61.8% of 20 days. You know, I can just figure that out. Yeah, it's about 12 and a half days. So I see this one lasting like 11 to 14 days. And possibly ending sometime February 25th to the 29th. Just an educated guess. Doesn't mean it'll happen. It could only be 8 or 9 days like this one was, and then it's off to the races. Then, once the bottoms are reached around this time, we are instantly going to be in a wave 5, and it's probably going to be pretty spectacular. And at this time, I'll be exiting the alts and probably heading over to Bitcoin, because the alts did good before and this is the long-term picture. They did good right up to about like May, end of May and June, and then Bitcoin rocketed near the end, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's something similar. If this is March, this could easily be April or May for Bitcoin, and then everything could come down. So only time will tell, but that's my take right now, where we're at in the market. And so if you counted this out, wave 1, about 31 days, this is what it would look like if you're looking for data points. Wave 2, 8 days. There's the dates. Wave 3, 21 days, January 25th to about February 14th. Wave 4, about, I'm thinking 11 to 15 days. I could always be off, so take it with a grain of salt. Starting about on or around Valentine's Day or the day after, and then ending probably end of February. Then I'm looking for a wave 5. Remember that these are like lightning bolts. If it starts sometime around the end of Feb, then probably March 8th to the 15th, I would think we'd be at the top of a wave 5. About right there. So that's where I see it going. All right, so let's get into Tezos and Chainlink. And I'm going to show you what I see going on with these. Let's look for... Oh, you know what? Let's go. Okay, so with Microsoft, let's do this. All right, so this pattern, I've spoken about this quite frequently. I call it the smoking double barrel shotgun. That's what it kind of looks like to me. You got the stock here, the barrel, and then the smoke's coming out. This, of course, Microsoft is a tech company, and I'm seeing this same pattern across a lot of these cryptocurrencies. I'm sure it plays out in other things as well. But Microsoft reached like $57. We can look at it in real time here. And I'm looking for like pullback areas, not so much to trade them, just so I know where I'm at. and what I think it's going to go to. And generally, for reference, these coins go about 5 times higher than whatever this peak is. When Bitcoin did this in 2013, it went to like 225 or 230. If you times that by 5, it brings you right up to about 1150. Ripple went to like 7 cents back in 2017. Then in like a month and a half later, or maybe 2 months later, it went to like 42 cents. That was about a 6x move. I've seen 4, 5, and 6x moves, but I'm going to show you a little trick that you can do when you see these patterns, how you can calculate certain pullback areas so that roughly you know where you're at and you know how much longer it'll be. And also, whatever this is here, this is usually the same or like 3/4 of the time. And then this is usually about half the time of this once it reaches the old high. This part here is usually about whatever this is. It's usually about half. So let's take a look at Microsoft in real time here. All right, so here's what I do. This is how I figure this out. This is how I'm calculating the pullback for Tezos and Chainlink. So Microsoft goes to like 113.37. That was about the high. It may have went a little higher during that day, but that's what it came in at. And then it went right down to about 100. And then this here was 57.63. So now I'm seeing the same thing with Tezos, how it's going up like that. Similar, really similar pattern. Chainlink, same thing. And now it's broken above. And so with Microsoft, how we just looked at the $113.37. And I take that where that pullback is. So that would be this right here. We looked at that. And I just divide it by this. And the 57.63, that gives me a 1.967. So if you take the 57.63, which is this right here, and times it by the 1.967, you'll arrive back at this, which kind of gives you an area for a pullback. And so this is what I do. So now with Tezos, we take the 1.74, which is this right here, about $1.74. We can, and just so you know, this is Tezos. Also, today is February the 18th, 2020. $1.74, and then Chainlink, 408. So let's go back. So now with Tezos, you take that $1.74, which is just this right here, times it by the 1.967, and I would be expecting a pullback. That comes up to about $3.42 compared to Microsoft. So if we look at Tezos now in real time, $3.42. This is Tezos. So my math was showing a pullback at about 342. Well, at 356, that was it. Then it had the pullback. So compared Tezos, just comparing it to Microsoft, I think we're somewhere, it even looks so similar, but I think we're somewhere right there. I think Tezos is getting close. If I'm correct, I may not be correct. And then with Chainlink, now Chainlink, Tezos is a little bit ahead. If you notice, hit the high, came down, and now it's ahead. Chainlink now similar, but it's like one leg behind. So Tezos is like one leg ahead. Now Chainlink, and I do own Chainlink right now, I'm expecting a pullback. You take the 408, just like we did with Microsoft. We took this amount, divided it by this, gave us a number, that 1.967, times this by the 1.967 gives you a pullback area. We did that with Tezos. We found it. Chainlink, 408, this one came up at. When you times that by the 1.9672, that should be in green too, sorry about that. Showing a pullback of about, the actual calculation was $8 and 2.6 cents, so about 803. Possible pullback areas, but definitely not guaranteed. This is the world of crypto. Anything can happen. It is still the Wild West. It'll probably still be the Wild West for probably, who knows, another year or 2 or 3. It may always be the Wild West, but that's why I love it. It's volatile. The moves are quick. Sometimes they're calculated, sometimes they're not, but that's what I see happening. And that's why I think that Tezos and Chainlink right now, that's why I call them the power couple, because I see these two doing some spectacular or pretty phenomenal things probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. They may go in sync with the rest of the market. I'm sure the market does move in unison, so they may do that. But that's what I see happening. This is just my opinion about the market, definitely not a fact. And so we will see what happens. And other than that, I apologize. I think it's been about a month or so since I've put a video up. I'm getting caught up on things, and I'm all healed up from my surgery and whatnot. I appreciate all the subscribers, all the comments, and everything. And I see that the channel's grown as well since I've been away, but I will try to get something up every week as new inspiration comes, as new ideas and new things come forward. I'll get them up. And so some stuff I may be right on, some I may not. Like I said, it's not investment advice, it's just my opinion. And so that's it. I hope you have a great day. If you liked the video, feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I want to thank you for coming over to Blockchain Silver, and remember to stay safe out there.